Hi, welcome to one of my favorite concepts in educational technology. As you can kind of tell by all the pretty pictures that I always put into this course and all of the um, images and things that I use all the time to try and help you get some understanding of what's going on and what you're going to do as a teacher. But this week, we're going to really explore visual literacy. What you're going to think about is really looking at all of the resources before you try to do your PowerPoint. I can tell the difference between people that have looked at things like what fonts should I use and what do those fonts look like. I think what you always have to keep in the back of your head or in the back of your mind when you are developing your PowerPoint presentations is, what does my end user, what is my reader, what is my student going to be looking at? And how are they going to be able to understand? If you are designing for maybe a first grader or second grader, see if you don't have somebody who is in first or second grade that you can have them look at your presentation before you upload the final assignment. So let's go back into looking at all of this so that you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So when you first go into the course this week, you're going to review all of the readings and resources. And this is a kind of a pleasurable thing because it's got a lot of imagery. I've actually put in a couple of books, excerpts from books that I have here at home that I have used myself to learn about. One of my favorites is Susanna's Unflattening, which is a book that where he really kind of steps out and uses visual literacy to convey meaning. In this book, it's not the full chapter, so please remember that as you're reading it. But you can kind of see, because it's a graphic, it's almost like a graphic novel, but it's designed to teach you about the visual structure that our brain uses and how we experience things visually. The whole book is quite brilliant, and I hope that you get a chance to actually look at this one chapter to kind of get an idea of how our brains perceive images. The next thing, I'm sorry, I was in the middle of, I listened in the background and I was listening to The Last Ship. I love that show. So another thing that we're going to look at is I've developed um, the visual principles on how to design effective materials for your students. This is a visual literacy class that I have taught at NIU and I have taken myself. And this is another excerpt, but basically when you are designing teacher-created materials, how do you convey meaning using images? What kinds of principles and things that you using when you are helping your students learn about different things? So basically, it talks about the use of visuals in a classroom and how we use visuals to teach our students and how our students use visuals to learn. So it's just some extra information that will help you in designing lessons and in designing teacher-created materials. And I hope you get a chance to kind of skim through it and look at some of the things that are in there. Another resource that I've given you is an infographic. Infographics, for those of you that are not aware yet, are ways of pulling together all kinds of data into a single tool. And this one is really about it's an infographic about infographics. So it's kind of an interesting concept to kind of show you what an infographic is that you can use on your teacher websites, for example. Finally, I have created a sway that kind of walks through different visual images that you can use and why we need to study visual literacy. There's several. If you've never used Sway, it's a really cool way of redesigning presentations by Microsoft. I've put in another video for you on how to do visual literacy in the classroom, and then just kind of some thoughts about things that I've learned, which I don't think I've actually let you guys see this, so never mind on that one. Anyway, do the readings and resources before you take the quiz. And yes, there is a quiz. And then once you've done all that, start working on your fairy tale project. I've given a lot of resources. Hopefully, you are starting to bookmark different websites that you come across or that I've given you as resources. Do not use Disney images. It is possible for you to use Disney images as an educator. However, in this exercise, I really want you to go out and look for open source, Creative Commons, license free images. So you are going, and this is why I'm giving you 2 weeks. It's really going to push you to the limits. And there's nothing that says that you can't go out and use your camera to come up with your own images. I mean, however you decide to do this project is totally 100% up to you. There's some previous student examples in there, and I'm not going to say whether they were A, B, or C examples. They're just examples of what other students have done before. There's some tutorials on PowerPoint presentation software, and there are a ton of multimedia resources for audio and for images and other things that you can use, some ideas of what people have done for children's books on the internet. Creating books for your students, especially if you're with younger students, is a really great idea for teachers. There's just a ton of resources. I haven't filtered through these in several years, but I'm sharing them with you so that you at least have some resources to start drawing from. If you have any questions as you're developing them, use that discussion board. I really love how people are asking questions and using that discussion board, and hopefully everybody is going there for answers. If you have any questions, you can also email me, and I really hope you enjoy doing it this week. Sorry for the very long intro, but hopefully you can see why. Good luck, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.